Streamlining GST structure, the complications and the way ahead. So we've already taken up this topic. तो adding on to the important points कि क्या क्या streamlining areas किन किन areas में important है GST का. So first and foremost is regarding the fewer slabs that must be created. Less exemption should be there and easier compliance. Easier compliance कैसे? They can be initiated by the categorization of products, as we read. Instead of creating a specific percentage of GST for every kind of product, there should be categories of products that can be created for better efficiency, better management, for the reduction of the tax slabs and less exemptions. जब हम बात करते हैं मेजरली कि मल्टीप्लिसिटी ऑफ रेट्स अंडर जीएसटी, तो दे हैव बीन फ्लैग्ड एज एन इशू हियर. So multiple times over the course of last year, GST Council has worked towards clarifying such discrepancies on the rate structure. क्या क्या rates on the different areas. Way forward की बात करते हैं तो and also the absurdity of the GST rates in an industry meeting. Way forward की बात करते हैं तो GST collections they have stabilized around rupees 1.8 lakh crore with a year-on-year growth rate of 10%. तो contentious proposal है भी on reducing rates on health and life insurance. Premiums they were discussing recently in GST Council meeting. तो existing tax slabs हैं 0, 5, 12, 18 and 28%. Into a 3 or 4 slab structure is also being discussed. तो solution क्या क्या हो सकता है? To have a flat rate with no exemptions or carve outs. ऐसे बहुत सारी कंट्रीज में सिंगापुर, न्यूजीलैंड एक्सेट्रा. तो यूनिफॉर्मिटी लाना इन द जीएसटी रेट्स बाय मर्जिंग ऑफ रेट्स. तो ये चैलेंजिंग होएगा लेकिन if there is consensus that it has to be done, then options are many.
So having a flat rate again has certain more questions that needs to be addressed. That if we have one single rate on each and everything which is there, so how it would be impacting the government's tax revenue, how it would be impacting the poor people also, because everything would be having the same rate. Now what is going to be that ideal tax rate? How will be deciding that? What would be the procedure? Are we having sufficient and adequate and fair data to assess that thing or not? So having same tax rate for a BMW car and for a food item, so how much justified and how much sustainable it would be for a developing and growing country like India?
Hmm. For the winters of discontent, cases of pollution is affecting the lives of insects, plants, reptiles and trees. तो recent incident की अगर हम बात करें तो even during the COVID pandemic, when all the individuals they were restricted inside their homes, so significantly pollution में भी बहुत ज़्यादा reduction हुआ था. And after so many like long times, the biodiversity it was actually visible, be it by the movement of the animals or even by the chirping of birds that were not visible since a very long time. So यहाँ पे again Delhi through the winter, so very poor condition is created here. We have already discussed this several times कि कैसे due to the industrial and vehicular emissions it takes place, which are the major causes of the pollution. And further, we have also discussed about the various e-drive schemes like e-drive, then FAME, then we talk about BS norms, GRAP norms की बात करते हैं, CAFE की बात करते हैं हम. And we also could discuss about the shifting of the vehicles from the outskirts of Delhi itself. Where even regarding water guns, कैसे even they can help in settling the pollution and green spaces creation. And major जो causes होता है that is stubble. And during the winter, all the air it gets settled down, the polluted air. So bar-headed geese as they fly across Himalayas. We just now discussed about this name. And the insects are bees are plants हैं. How are they getting impacted due to it?
So bar-headed geese, these are one of the highest flying birds in the world. And they have been recorded flying over Mount Everest also during their migration. So these birds are symbol of endurance and resilience, and their arrival in India that is also eagerly awaited by bird watchers and conservationists. So these are found in India in locations like Keladeh National Park, Rajasthan, Chilika Lake, Odisha, Pong Dam Lake, Himachal Pradesh, Sultanpur National Park, Haryana, Ganga and Yamuna River basins also. These are migratory birds which migrate to India during the winter months between October to March and flying at altitudes of over 25,000 feet. So these are again, we can say that found in again Mongolia, Tibet, and China. So these are the breeding grounds for them during the winter months. And IUCN status is least concern. So these are herbivorous species of birds.
Hmm. Keepers of lost cities. 100 years after archaeologist John Marshall revealed the Indus civilization to the world. तो अदर एग्जाम्पल की बात करते हैं सिविलाइजेशन में तो वी हैव द मेसोपोटामियन civilization across the Nile River in the Egyptian area. तो जो civilizations है they are set up across the water sources themselves. जैसे इंडस रिवर के अराउंड इंडस civilization was created. तो जो डिस्कवरी है it helped us imagine the lives of the ancient people and their ways from terracotta jars to elaborate headdresses. तो कैसे cultural significance यहाँ पे we can observe. Major sites अगर देखिए of the Indus Valley civilization तो हड़प्पा मेहगढ़ मोहनजोदारो and लोथल. Dayaram Sahani ji, the archaeologist who actually found the evidence of the early culture of Harappa in a dig he conducted in 1921. फिर मोहनजोदारो excavations. फिर रखलदास Banerjee who headed the Western Circle of Archaeological Survey of India. So Archaeological Survey of India 1861 if I'm not wrong. It was created. So Buddhist site, it was considered to be in the beginning according to the Rakhaldas Banerjee. The stupa site, फिर Harappa seals. These are all the major excavations that are found out here. Hirananda Shastri ji, 1903, he was Pandit in charge of the ASI's office in Punjab. So he was sent to survey 3 sites in the Ganga Yamuna Doab region, जहाँ पे copper objects they were yielded from hoards. So beyond individuals, there was an important institutional lacuna in the ASI. By contrast, the colonial archaeological survey of India, it showed no institutional space for brainstorming, no common room for archaeologists to discuss their digs and share information about each other's field. So there I am Sahani ji and Rakhal Das Banerjee.
So we can talk about what new reforms are needed as far as the Archaeological Survey of India is concerned. One is we are seeing that the challenge is that it is underfunded relative to the magnitude of responsibilities they have. So budget allocation under the Ministry of Culture can be enhanced. Then we can say that modernization of technology and digital tools can be used, how artificial intelligence can help, or 3D scanning, geographic information systems, drone-based mappings, and creating fully accessible database, digital database of all monuments and artifacts that can be done. Then decentralization of powers. Right now, we see that it is highly centralized body with decision making concentrated in its headquarters in Delhi. So it leads to bureaucratic delays in conservation and restoration projects. So we need decentralization, setting up more regional offices with more autonomy, enabling faster decision making, better region specific solutions also for heritage management. Then improved staffing and skill development can be another area. And for example, expertise in heritage conservation, archaeology, then museology and architecture. Then community involvement and heritage tourism can also be promoted. This can be one of the sustainable ways to even raise revenue for Archaeological Survey of India. So local communities right now, they're not often involved in preservation, promotion of the heritage sites. So more awareness generation, including them also in the exercise, can play important role. So like international tourists, even they are very exquisite about visiting such heritage sites in India. Then simplification of the regulatory processes. So right now it is regulated under the Ancient Monuments and Archaeological Sites and Remains Act of 1958. So again, as we're talking about decolonization, so this act dates back to 1958. Although it's a post-independent act, but still more reforms are needed in this. So we need to strike a balance between heritage protection and urban development simultaneously, particularly in densely populated areas. So better conservation practices can be promoted, adopting internationally accepted conservation techniques, which focus on minimum intervention and maintaining their authenticity also. So archaeological research can also be promoted along with national and international universities and institutions, and protection against vandalism and looting of these sites. So we can strengthen security measures at monuments by integrating CCTV surveillance, increased patrolling, and better collaboration with the local law enforcement bodies. And also addressing the issue of unprotected monuments, which leads to their destruction, which goes again unreported because there is lack of database or those sites have not been identified as of now. So this was highlighted by the Comptroller and Auditor General of India that 92 centrally protected monuments, they were untraceable, indicating poor record keeping and oversight.
Hmm. And also the outsourcing की need आती है due to the insufficient workforce. उसको भी deal करना is important. All creatures, great and small. So how back-to-back safaris zagging through central India's Tadoba Andhari Tiger Reserve and Pench National Park, they promise immersive wildlife experiences. तो अगेन इको टूरिज्म की बात करते हैं तो वहां पे एग्जाम्पल हो सकता है कैसे जब हम सफारीज की बात करते हैं, राइड्स की बात करते हैं, दे कैन enhance the economic aspect and also generate curiosity, awareness, and sensitivity among the individuals. So here we have Maharashtra's Tadoba Andhari Tiger Reserve. Further also Pench National Park through the picturesque Sarahiri village. तो deciduous forest है ये. तो Rudyard Kipling's classic The Jungle Book. तो उसके behind it was the inspiration behind it. और Tiger Queen of Taru. So how they inspire even the when we talk about culture, art forms, etc. इसीलिए preservation they become very important. Next, where aging is not a disease but a privilege. So at the AIMS Geriatric Center, patients get holistic care. Can the Ayushman Bharat health coverage for the 70 plus help? तो जेरिएट्रिक केयर क्या होती है? ये कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव मेडिकल मैनेजमेंट है जहाँ पे डायग्नोसिंग ट्रीटिंग मल्टीपल ऑफन क्रोनिक हेल्थ कंडीशंस कॉमन इन ओल्डर एडल्ट जैसे कि हार्ट डिजीज, अर्थराइटिस, डायबिटीज और कॉग्निटिव डिक्लाइन, इनका मैनेजमेंट टेक प्लेस. मल्टी डिसिप्लिनरी अप्रोच होती है जो कि डाइवर्स नीड्स को केटर करती है. फंक्शनल और कॉग्निटिव सपोर्ट, मेडिकल मैनेजमेंट, होलिस्टिक केयर, एंड ऑफ लाइफ केयर. तो कैन जस्ट हेल्थ कवरेज हेल्प इन इट? क्या जो वो एक होलिस्टिक केयर होती है वो प्रोवाइड कर पाएगा इंश्योरेंस? Most probably not. And also further when we talk about the challenges in terms of the healthcare sector. So one of the major is the lack of infrastructure. And the public hospitals हैं उनको increase करना because of the increased population. So as to avoid the long queues in the government hospitals. Also affordability, it can be enhanced.
So can we say that geriatric care is only related to healthcare sector? So that is not the case. We should, again, as it is mentioned here, that it should be multidisciplinary approach. How we can ensure that proper financial planning is there too, so that their financial needs are also properly catered. So planning, financial planning, healthcare planning is very important. And also they are getting sustainable source of income. So how they can leverage their experience, their skills, and keep earning in a flexible manner, as we say the positives of the gig economy as well. So that can be few of the areas.
Hmm. Financial literacy. Next chord is key for stability, peace, and Indo-Pacific. So we have already discussed regarding this. कैसे chord can help in the maritime security and the trade relations in the Indo-Pacific area. In the recent visit of Narendra Modi ji to the US, the Philadelphia in US. So India, South Korea merge ways to balance trade. तो साउथ कोरिया के साथ अगेन इंडिया का मेजरली इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स में ट्रेड है, बीट इन टर्म्स ऑफ चिप्स एटसेट्रा. And further discussions they were held between the Industry Minister Piyush Goyal and Korean counterpart in Kyochang at Laos. So meetings are to upgrade the SEPA, the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. So they have sought greater market access for certain products, जो भी negative list में है of the agreement, जैसे कि steel, rice and shrimp from South Korea. So again, ASEAN, Association for Southeast Asian Nations. Indian Economic Ministers meeting. So from the Korean side, जो demand आई है, that is in sectors like automobile, textile, chemical, petrochemicals. while जो इंडिया है वो एक्सेस सीख कर रहा है to the steel, rice, shrimp and clothing market. The trade deficit with South Korea has also gone up to 114 billion. Tech takes wings at airports globally. So can long queues at airports be a thing of past? So smart security screening system. So recently, even in the UPSC mains exam that happened, उसमें भी there was a question regarding the electronic tolls. कि कैसे that can enhance. What are the various intervention or various ways in which that will be beneficial? Similarly, जो ये process है of screening that can be made more efficient, quick, and less cumbersome and tiresome for the individuals. तो ये एक तरीका है of the smart security screening system at the Hong Kong International Airport, जिसमें it allows the passengers to keep their electronic devices, liquids, and gels in carry-on luggage without taking them out for screening. So developing such smart security systems. तो यहाँ पे चेंज क्या है? तो इट इज enabled by latest 3D and 360 degree CT based X-ray scanning technology. और जो currently 2D capability है उसको 3D कर दें 360. CT scan is like computer topography. So through that, on X-ray based on that scanning technology, it can help in better security management. And further, जो cases होते हैं, be it of the hijacking, etc., they can all be prevented. Also, we also saw a case of the IC-814 flight hijacking. So उसमें भी there was a diplomat, a high diplomat official whose bag security they weren't checked. So this must also be made sure कि no matter what is the position of the individual, security checks they are being done. And also we also saw the recent parliament case जहाँ पे there were canisters that were used. So there could have been other devices as well. So securities ahead, all such common public institutions of significance in some areas may becomes very important. So Airport Authority of India, further Director General of Civil Aviation.
And also the role of Digi Yatra will also be important when it comes to check-ins. Apart from scanning and Digi Yatra, digitizing more things using modern technology can help in again decongestion also.
So one nation, one election. We read that there will be several amendments that must be made so as to implement the one nation, one election. And we also discussed regarding the what will be the major benefits and what will be the major challenges here. So again, new articles would require amendments to the constitution. New articles like 82A, 83.3, 84, 83.4, 172, Article 324. जहाँ पे जो timelines है or perhaps the duration of the state legislatures and even the central government that will be altered. तो इसलिए amendments they are required. And the Cowen committee was exploring an idea that was the antithesis of the federal parliamentary democracy. So in the parliamentary democracy, the elected government is responsible to the people's representatives every day. और एक short term नहीं होनी चाहिए यहाँ पर. तो cycles जो हैं they will be changed here. So instability arises when there are no regular elections that take place. Accountability नहीं रहती. Thank you everyone for joining. We have ended for today's session and we'll continue with the next set of important articles in the next session.